Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Carroll style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by a Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Carroll style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Carroll style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Welcome back to Improving Your Thoughts by Freeing Yourself. I'm your host, Layla Carroll, and today's episode is about something we all struggle with. Sometimes without even realizing it. It's about learning how to stop letting other people's energy control you. Because let's be honest, some days you wake up feeling fine, peaceful, centered, maybe even a little joyful. Then one conversation, one phone call, one stroll on social media, and all of a sudden you feel anxious, irritated, or drained. That's not your energy. That's someone else's storm trying to invade your weather. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop absorbing everything around you and how to start protecting your spirit from emotional pollution. The day I realized I was carrying someone else's stuff, I want to talk about that. Let me tell you a story. A point in my life, I remember sitting in my car one morning, and after talking to someone who always seemed to be upset about something, and after every conversation with this person, I felt like my balloon was popped. I felt heavy, and I felt like I lost air. That day, I caught myself sitting there staring out the window, and I asked myself out loud, why do I feel so heavy when I don't even have this problem? When I didn't wake up this way? And that's when it hit me. I was carrying emotions that didn't belong to me. I was carrying other people's energy. Their frustration became mine. Their bad days became my bad days. Their chaos became my cloud. That was the day I realized something powerful. I'm not supposed to be responsible for fixing everyone else's weather. From this moment on, I may have to disconnect myself. Instead of always answering the phone every time someone called me, instead of me choosing to just listen to the chaos, this is when I am going to make up a new rule for my peace. If I don't have to listen to it, I don't have to worry about it. Or if I hear it And whatever problem they have, if I didn't cause it, then I will not carry it. And the moment I realized that was my invisible backpack filled with other people energy, that was the breaking point for me. It caused me to center myself, to meditate. That's when I started meditating, because at first I was just practicing the meditation. I wasn't quite sure how it went, but I made it my mission to start meditating, whether it was in the morning, in the middle of the day, or when I'm going to bed. But I will find the time to make sure that I am centered and I get my peace back. And when I did that, when I started doing that, it caused me to breathe again. Now I can breathe. You see, energy is contagious. And if you're not intelligent enough, and I'm not talking about you're stupid, I'm talking about wise, paying attention, you got to be very intentional about protecting yourself. You have to be very intentional about who you allow to be in your space, who you allow to connect with you, and how long they can stay there. Someone always is going to have a problem. You got to always remember that. You're always going to have somebody who's going to have a problem. Even yourself, you're going to have a problem. So you got to realize that someone will always hand you their heaviness and walk away feeling lighter while you're left trying to figure out why you feel off. I was talking to my aunt the other day, and I told you guys I talk to her like almost every day. And she was unaware of some of the things that I was dealing with. And I mentioned some of those things. So it was quite a few things that was happening with us at home. And what it was that my son, I don't know what he was doing in his room, but it blew out. He blew out the socket. He blew out the socket where the outlet wasn't working anymore. So we wasn't able to plug anything into the outlet or anything like that. And we checked the breaker. We did all that and it still wasn't working. It was smoky. So I felt like he must have put some kind of metal or something in the outlet. But then I realized that if he'd done that, it would have shocked him. I think it probably did a little bit, because when he felt the pop, he ran out of the room so fast and in fear that I said to myself, tell me this boy did not put something in the socket. He knows he's not supposed to do this. He is 12 years old. Tell me he is not doing this kind of stuff. And he tried to explain that he didn't do it. But I'm trying to figure out then, why did the electricity go out and why do I smell smoke coming from this particular outlet? You did something. So for about 2 months, we weren't able to use the outlets in his room. I'm talking about none of them. We wasn't able to turn the lights on, and it also affected the bathroom, his bathroom. So his bathroom wasn't working either. So I had to get what you call a surge protector with some other thing to. I had solo lights. That's what it was. I had solo lights so he can have lights in his room and use the solar light. Had an USB plug that you can charge your phone to. So he had to use that to charge his phone at night. And that was one problem right there. I didn't tell anyone about it. I kept it to myself. Only me and my husband knew about it. But my mother didn't know about it. I didn't feel like it was her business to know everything, so I didn't tell her about it. And at the same time, that wasn't the only thing that was going on. Our refrigerator went out. It wasn't getting cold anymore, so our food was melting. And I ended up buying another refrigerator to put in the bedroom, but it was a small one. It wasn't a big one. And that refrigerator was supposed to be for me and my husband to put our special food in that we didn't want our son to be messing with, because he would eat you out of a house and a home and wouldn't even give a crap that someone else is in the house and need to eat too. So I was like, okay, well, we got to put some food over here, put some food over there. And then my husband like, well, how about we just get a deep freezer and we put the deep freezer in the garage and put food in there. It was just a lot going on. So that's more money just coming out that was unexpectedly. And then to top it off, the other day, my son broke the bedroom window. And so when he broke the bedroom window, now we got to get that fixed. I mean, it was always something, one thing after another, after another, after another. So I was telling my aunt about these things. And I said, my mom, what she fails to realize is that we have problems too. And when she calls me with the issues that she have going on, I can't just go run to her rescue fixing her problems like I used to. When I was able to do that, I was single and I was not a mother. It was just me. And I had extra money to do that. Now I'm married, meaning that there's an extra body that has to have things. And then I'm a mother. That means it's an extra mouth to feed. All these things. I'm like, my life is completely different. It is tremendously changed. It is not the same. And so when my aunt was telling me that's what the problem is your mom has. She's so used to how you did when you was doing the things you was doing for her. She don't know how to handle your new life. And so she feels like that you neglected her, you abandoned her. And I'm thinking like, matter of fact, I did say this. I told her, I said, do you realize that I know she's not slow and that she has understanding as some kind of capacity in her life, in her mind. She didn't make being 66, she didn't make that age being a complete fool or complete idiot. She did not get to that age that way. So it was have to somewhere in her have some kind of understanding that what I was doing for her was not going to last forever. It just was impossible to do so. And like I'm trying to say, you got to understand that your energy and other people's energy will rub off on you if you're not careful with not allowing them to dump all that into you. Let's talk about understanding emotional energy. I want to give you some information on that because of the fact that if you don't understand it, then you won't be able to stop it. Let's go deeper. Every time, everything and everyone carries energy. Time, it carries energy. Things carry energy. And people carry energy. Words, emotions, spaces, memories, even silence. And whether you realize it or not, you are constantly exchanging energy with the world around you. The key is learning how to filter what you allow in. There are 3 types of people when it comes to energy. Let's see which one is you. Which one of these are you? Number 1, the absorber, person who absorb everything. Absorber.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Carroll style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarrollstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. They take in everything around them, often unknowingly. Is that you? You always taking in other people's emotion. My best friend, my sister, she's a absorber. She takes in things. People give her information, and it's one of those things where it becomes heavy on her. And I've learned to make humor out of what I tell her when I'm talking about my situation, because there have been times when I first got married to my husband, my current husband, when I first got married to Marcus, the first year, I wasn't really hearing too much from her. And I knew some of it had to do with her not being able to make it to my wedding, but it was other things that was going on, and I didn't know what she was dealing with, which was dealing with her one of her daughters and everything. And but I felt that something was wrong because it wasn't like her to be distant the way she were. And I started getting in my feelings about this. I started feeling like, what's going on? Because I don't hear from her. And if I don't call her, she's not calling me. And I remember talking to her about it. I mentioned it to her and I say, why am I the only one calling? And you know how I feel about that. Sometimes you can call me too. And she was like, sis, it's not that. I got some things going on. And she started explaining to me her situation. And I started realizing right then and there that she absorbs other people's energy, and what's going on with her children is even deeper. And then at that time, I said to myself, I'm going to have to change my approach with how I give her information about me, because she worries a lot. I call her a worry ward. She worries deeply, and I don't want her doing that with me. So now when I talk to her, I do make joke and I make light of the situation, but yet at the same time, I'm really serious about it. But I started talking in a joking manner so that way she can laugh. And even though it's my issue, I don't want her absorbing it like that. So, is that you? Because it was times when she had to go on a mental break and stop talking. And I'm glad, because I encouraged her to do that too. I said, you might just need to take a week or 2 week off of talking to people. When your phone rings, don't answer it. Send them a text and say, hey, I'm taking a mental break. I will contact you when I'm ready. And if they don't understand, then that person has a problem, not you. And so I just told her, just let me know whenever you're taking those breaks so that way I respect your time and your space. And so that's what's been going on. Every time she's ready for a mental break, she tell me, hey, I think I'm going to end up taking a mental break next week. And I'll hit you up and I'll let you know. If it's an emergency, then, hey, call me. But other than that, just send me a text. We don't text a lot, though, because we talk so much over the phone. There's really not much of a need of texting. So we don't text a lot. And I notice if she's texting, she's taking a mental break. So what about number 2? The reflector. They mirror back whatever they receive. Is that you? Whenever someone, like some people say, I match energy with energy, that's a reflector. You give me arguments, well, hey, I'm going to argue back with you. Bring me peace, and hey, I'm going to give you peace. Is that you? You matching the energy with the energy. Then that means that you are a reflector. And then number 3, alchemists. Alchemists, they transform negative energy into wisdom, compassion, or peace. Your goal is to become the alchemist. You got to understand what an alchemist really is. It's not really that easy to be an alchemist, but it's not really that hard either. You just have to master yourself. When you're able to do that, then you can become an alchemist. It's like when a person come at you with negativity, they're being pessimistic, really. But instead of you matching that energy, being a reflector, you become an alchemist. You become positive. You take that negativity and you turn it to some type of wisdom. You find wisdom in it. You find what you can I say twist it a little bit to find what is good. See the good. What is this problem doing? Every situation that is bad always has some kind of good that comes with it. You might not think so, but really think deep about it. I'll give you some examples. So let's take COVID, for example. COVID was really bad. It killed a lot of people. But what else did COVID do? It changed the world in a different direction. So I'm going to put it like this. In Texas, before COVID, we weren't allowed to bring alcohol, any type of alcohol drinks outside. So if you go to a restaurant and you order a martini, a cocktail, a beer, or whatever, you had to sit in the restaurant and drink that margarita. You could not take it outside at all. Now you can. Also in Texas, we wasn't allowed to buy alcohol online and have it delivered to us to our house. But now I can order a whole daiquiri and have it delivered to my door and ready to drink. Like, those are the things I'm saying. Now you probably say, wow, she's talking about liquor. Well, that is a good change. Now let's talk about something more deeper. When it came down to people passing away, COVID shed light on people who did not like to go to the doctor. Now you got people going to the doctor more than they have been before. You have people going to get checkups more. They're checking out anything they might see that might be wrong with them instead of just weathering the storm, dealing with the pain, or talking about, oh, I have high pain tolerance. I mean, come on now. That's the reason why you end up with stage 4 cancer, because your pain tolerance is too high. You should be checking on yourself before you even feel that pain. So COVID brought about other good things too, even though it had a negative impact on a lot of people. It also had a positive impact on a lot of people as well. Financially, you have people who didn't get kicked out of their apartment when they were supposed to have gotten evicted during certain times. They was able to save some of their money to be able to pay their rent when COVID lifted up. And it was, hey, you have to figure it out. So just on the bright side, you have to find positive, some type of wisdom with the negative energy. When someone tries to project negativity, you pause and say, that's not mine. That's wisdom right there. That's not mine. That's yours. That belongs to you. Something happened to you. It's why you're sending out negative energy. This is not my energy, so I'm not going to be a reflector and match energy for energy. And I'm not going to be an absorber, and I'm not going to absorb your energy. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be an alchemist instead. When chaos shows up at your door, you respond, not react. When others unload their pain, you hold space for them to be able to get it out, but you don't hold on to it. All right? You release it. This is what energetic, this is what anesthetic maturity looks like. I want you to be able to change your normal behavior and start practicing becoming a new you. Now, here's something else powerful to understand. When you let someone else's mood control yours, you're handling their remote access to your emotions. It says here, you decide how my day is going to be. No, we're not going to do that, okay? But peace means taking the remote back. You can still be sympathetic, and you can also still be empathetic without being entangled. You can still love deeply without losing yourself in someone else's storm. So next time you feel like something is off, ask yourself, is this my emotions that I'm feeling? Or is it someone else's? That is one question that will save you hours. I mean, hours and hours. Okay? And sometimes even years of unnecessary stress. So let's move on to the next segment. We're going to talk about grounding and energy protection practice. I want you to learn how to practice this. I told you what you need to do, how to become. Now let me show you how you can actually put this into play, how you can implement this, okay? So now let's talk about practical tools. I'm going to give you some tools of becoming the person that I'm talking about in here in this episode. Because peace is not just an idea, it's an everyday practice. This is something you practice every single day. Remember, I told you on the last episode 7, I told you that when I wake up in the morning, I get my coffee, I savor the taste. That is mindfulness right there. I'm practicing mindfulness. I'm tasting the coffee and I'm feeling the warmth of the coffee. And I am enjoying the coffee. I'm savoring the moment. And that is mindfulness practices. That is me starting my piece. And then I go outside and I sit and I look in the sky and I see the birds and I see the airplanes flying by and I'm just saying, when I see an airplane, I can actually spot where airline it is because of course I'm flights and I can see, the tail. I'm like, oh, that's Southwest. Oh, that's Spirit. Oh, that's United. Oh, I wonder where they coming from, I'm always like, I wonder where they're going, or I'm like, oh, that's the plane I work on. Look at them, I start I'm in the moment, and I don't just jump on social media and start looking at what's going on in the world, although my husband does, and sometimes I can't get around it because he's in the bed with me still doing those things when I first wake up. And there's have been times when I have had to tell him, babe, not now. It's too early. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If I'm just waking up, it's too early. My brain haven't focused on today yet. So let's not do this. You're like, all right, babe, I'm going to put it down. But I'm just letting you know, this is me taking my control of my peace. So here are 5 ways for you to stop letting other people's energy control you. Number 1, what you want to do is start your day with energy intuition. What is that? Energy intuition. Hey, I just told you what I do. I'm in the moment. So, energy intuition, how to start your day before you leave the house, before you stroll on your phone. Say this to yourself. Today, I protect my peace. I decide my energy. You can even visualize a light, a soft glow, golden glow around yourself, like an aura that acts like a shield. That's not a woo-woo, okay? It's not a woo-woo. It's training your mind to guard your focus. This is what this is. Then, number 2, after you got your mind right, you're like, today's going to be a good day, even though today might have a lot of challenges in it, but you say, hey, it's going to be a good day no matter what. Well, you're already challenging you're shaping the energy and you're pushing it in the direction you want it to go. So number 2, you're going to breathe before you respond. Someone's about to give you some craziness and they told you whatever the situation may be and it's not that pleasant. Before reacting, you want to respond, okay? So you're going to breathe. When someone says something that's triggering, take a deep breath before you reply. That single shift, that single breath in your body from reaction turns into a response, okay? So then number 3, cleanse your space. If you live in a house that is chaotic, it's time to clean your house up. And if you can't do it, hire someone else to do it, because they got cleaning services out here. Some of them are $19 an hour. Look them up. You better search the internet and find someone to clean your house, because the way you live is the way your life is. You have to change your environment, clean it up, okay? And once you have your house clean, if you at work and you have a messy desk, clean your desk. When I used to work at HP, I had a desk. Before I started work, every single day, because I actually also shared that desk with 2 other people, but we had 3 shifts. So I will come in on my shift, and when I come in, they have stuff everywhere. That whole area be chaotic. I'm sorry, I cannot work in clutter. I can't even live in clutter. So before I start my day, before I start working, my night, whatever, I would clean, and then I will start working. I do the same thing on the plane. We're supposed to leave the plane the way we want it. So there sometimes be some flight attendants who don't do that. It be messy. Now we are told to take pictures and videos of the area and then send it in to the company so they can see, and then they will contact that flight attendant and say, hey, next time clean it up. But I only done that twice. It's been 9 years since I've been working here, so working at the job. So I just choose to just clean up the mess. Now, the 2 times that I have sent in the pictures, it was just ridiculous. And I was like, nah, this is ridiculous. We ain't finna do this again. So I had to send it in. It takes a lot for me to want to rat somebody out like that. But hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So what you want to do is clean up your space. So let's say, after you have done that, let's talk about conversation. How to clean up your space with conversation and emotion. So after heavy conversations or emotional moments, cleanse your space, open your windows at home, or if you're in the car. Oh, if you're in the car, that is a good way to let out some steam. If you're driving and you have a heated argument with somebody, open your windows, let your windows down while you're driving, and let that air just hit you. You hear all that honking like I'm hearing outside this window here, and you can just change your thoughts, and that air just changes a lot of it, and also wakes you up too. But you want to play some calming music when you're at home, light a candle, pray, or take a walk. Those are good ways to clean your emotional space after you have cleaned your physical space. Energy lineage, what you want to do is line your energy up. So you just have different things put in place to line energy to follow the next thing. So if you got the windows down and you got calming music playing, and of course if you're at home you got your candles going, and then you start praying or you go for a walk, any of those things. Now, you guys, please excuse the noise in the background. I am in Mexico and these people don't know how to drive, and I'm sitting here in this hotel room and they just honking their horns like crazy, and there's nothing I can do about that. So just want you guys to know that's what you're hearing in the background. So please excuse that. And back to what I was saying before we was interrupted by the noise. After you have done those things and you got your energy lined up, you want to also make space in your heart for forgiveness, because that's going to help you to stay peaceful. It's going to help you to center yourself. It's going to help you stay grounded, and it's going to help keep you out of trouble. Because if you angry with someone and you're not forgiving them and you holding resentment in your heart towards them, you're not gonna be able to live in peace. You will never be able to live in peace with unforgiveness in your heart. So if you have anyone that you're mad at and you're not forgiving them for whatever it is that happened, you are setting yourself up for torment. So please forgive the person for whatever they did. It's not to set them free, it's to set you free. All right? Now, you want to also set limits. You want to limit your access. That's something you want to do. Nothing and no one should be able to take control of you. So set your limits, all right? Set some limits. Not everyone deserves front seat to your life. Protect your peace by limiting access to people who constantly bring negativity to you. It doesn't mean that you hate them. What it means is that you love yourself. That's all. You don't even have to say, I love myself more. No, it's just you just love yourself enough that you want to keep your peace. So, in number 5, let's talk about number 5 is recentering and stillness. Create 10 minutes a day for stillness. No phone, no noise. I've been finding myself doing this quite often. This whole week, I have been getting up with nothing, just quiet. I start sitting there and sometimes it goes on for hours that I completely forget that I never turned the TV on. And the past 2 days, I had my son come home from school. He get home about 5 something, right? PM. And he's like not knowing that I'm in the house because it's so quiet. And he comes in the house and of course our dog barking at him, so he just think it's just a dog there. And so then when he see me sitting in our lounge, because I created a lounge for me and my husband to chill at, and it used to be my workout area, but now that I'm going to the gym, I decided to turn it into a lounge. So I'm sitting on the couch in the lounge, and he comes in the house, and he don't know that I'm there until he come around that corner, and he jumps. He's like, "Oh!" And I'm like, "What you jumping for?" He said, "I didn't know you was here." I said, "Oh," I said, "I'm just sitting in silence. I'm just meditating. I'm relaxed." And then there's times when he come home and have jazz music playing, and that to me is me sitting in stillness. I already know the craziness that's going on in the world. I will listen to the news. I will read the news on whatever, my phone, whenever I'm ready. And I will only take in just enough to know what's going on. And then I turn it off. Okay, enough is enough. Don't want to see no more. And that to keep me from walking into something that I should have known about. You know, if I go outside and something's going on and I didn't pay attention to that, that's a problem. So yeah, that's what I would do. So I don't want to absorb too much of that. So what you want to do is let your energy reset. That's what you're doing. When you take 10 minutes a day in stillness, no phone, no noise, you're letting your energy reset. Stillness is your spiritual detox. The more you practice these steps, the less power other people's moods will have on you, okay? The more you practice these steps, the less power other people's moods will have over you. People will start saying, "Wow, you're different. I mean, you so calm." That's what I have people tell me on the plane. It's I never really pay attention to it, but I do now. I have had several people, more than 7 people in the past year tell me, "Man, you just so calm. You so laid back. Like you just be chilling." And I'm talking about on the plane. When something is going wrong, like we delayed, I'm already prepared for this. That's one reason why I'm able to be calm, because I'm expecting and I'm being flexible. So I'm telling myself, okay, if we delayed, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I do what I need to do. And I'm going to make sure everyone on the plane is aware of what's going on. And then I'm going to see who I can help. I have my whole system down. And I have had people ask me, gate agent, I'd have other flight attendants, I'd have even pilots, they say to me, were those people acting crazy because y'all was so delayed? I'm like, no, they wasn't. They was watching the movie. Some of them was asleep. Other ones, they was, doing what I had told them that they should be doing so they can make sure that their next connection flight is taken care of. And most of them was just chilling. And this is what's been going on consistently this whole year. And I know that energy rub off on other people. So if my energy is a certain way, then I know that my energy can help them. And I had one person, I wasn't working the flight, I was a passenger on the flight. He was sitting in front of me and we was delayed, and this is actually was last week. We was delayed, and this was just during the shutdown, the government shutdown and everything. We sat on the terminal for almost an hour waiting to be able to take off. He started getting agitated, and I can feel his energy on how much he was getting agitated. I fell asleep. I woke up an hour later. We were still sitting there. I thought in my mind that we had taken off because it felt like in my mind we took off. But we did. We were still sitting there. So when I woke up, I was like, dang, we still sitting on the ground? Like, what's really going on? And the guy in front of me, this is what I'm saying to myself. I didn't say it out loud. I was thinking these thoughts. And so the guy in front of me, he started saying it out loud. And he's like, made this noise like, man, when we gonna take off? Like, dang, we just sitting here. I mean, like that. And I'm saying, oh, wow. And then the flight attendant who's working the flight, she comes up to him and she was like trying to, help him out. And I can feel her energy that she was nervous because she didn't know how he was going to treat her. And then I said something. I did. I said something. I say, because of the government shutdown, it is to be expected that we're going to be delayed. So it's best to just relax because we're on the plane and there's nothing we can do. Eventually, we will get to where we got to go. I would prefer to get there safely than to not get there at all because we crashed somewhere. After that, he shut up. He's like, oh. And then he started talking to me. Now he want to have a conversation. I'm like, I was trying to be quiet because I didn't want to have a conversation. I told you, I don't like always talking to people. But I went on engaged with him. I decided to just have the conversation. So maybe to keep him calm. And it did. And he stayed in his seat because at first he was getting up, walking around, pacing around. And he finally sat down. He was the only one moving around too. Everybody else was in their seat, chilling and quiet, and he was the only one making noise. So you couldn't help but to feel his energy. But when he started talking to me, he stayed in the seat, and eventually the captain came on the PA and he announced that we're number 3 next in line and we should be getting to take off. And I was like, we're about to take off. And he was turned back around in his seat and started watching the movie. And that was all she wrote. And then, of course, when I got off the plane, people started asking me questions about him. And I was just like, hey, he's just like anyone else. He wanted to get to where he wanted to go. But, hey, you can't control everything. So, it is what it is. But just keep in mind that you have to be careful with allowing other people's moods to take over yours. You'll start noticing even energy shift. That's what I noticed in the guy when he sat down and he stayed seated after having the conversation with, well, while having the conversation with me. Because I was in the seat by myself. I had the whole row to myself and he had the whole row to himself. It wasn't a full flight. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to kick my feet up and I'm going to chill. And, if he see me relax, maybe he'll relax. Those are energy shift. So I shift my energy to his. And you have to know that staying grounded, no matter what is happening around you, is the way you are able to keep your peace. So let's change the gear. Let's do some reflecting. reflection as well as affirmation. You know, I like to give y'all affirmation. My next season, season 9, I'm going to go over my book, 365 Days of Mindfulness, Your Daily Affirmation Guide. I'm going to go through that book. And when I wrote that book, it was actually supposed to be free. I wasn't going to sell the book. I was just going to write it, put it in a PDF form, and then just email it to people who needs encouragement and who need to change their mindset from negative to positive, from being pessimistic to optimistic. So I'm going to share that book with you guys. I'm going to sit and I'm going to go through the book, and I'm going to give you guys something to go by. Now, it's 365 days now. I don't know if I'm going to do all 365 of those. I'm going to plan it out. I'm going to figure out if I want to do it daily or if I want to do it. I don't know. I can't just say what I'm going to do. All I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to use the book, and I'm going to share some affirmation with you guys and the meaning of the affirmation and help you guys to start thinking positive in the year 2026. We don't know what's going to bring. 2025 brought about a government shutdown, and 2024 brought about some things, and 2023 and 2022 and all that, COVID, all that. It just brought some different things every year. So you have the war going on. Don't forget about the war in Ukraine. Don't forget about Israel, all the kidnapping. I mean, it had a lot of things going on in these past 5 years. So now that we are going into the latter years of the 20s, now it's going to be 26, we're in the latter years. I want to bring you something positive so you can have something positive into your future to think about, especially when it's pertaining to yourself, okay? So let's breathe together. Let's inhale peace. Hold it. Exhale whatever doesn't belong to you. Let it go. Yes. I want you to say these affirmations out loud or just say it in your heart. I want you to say, their storm doesn't have to become my weather. Their storm doesn't have to become my weather. I want you to say, I protect my energy with love and boundaries. I protect my energy with love and boundaries. Now I want you to say, I can be kind without absorbing chaos. I can be kind without absorbing chaos. You don't have to absorb it, okay? And I want you to say, my emotions belong to me, not to the world around me. My emotions belong to me, not to the world around me. You know how some people be expecting a reaction from you? Don't feel bad when you don't react. Those are your emotions. They belong to you, not to them, okay? And now I want you to say, peace lives in my body, no matter what others bring. Peace lives in my body, no matter what others bring. No matter what others, no matter what others bring. Now let's reflect. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to think of the answer. I want you to reflect. Think about some things that have to do with you and your response. I'm going to ask you 4 questions, okay? So, number 1, who drains you the most, and why do you keep allowing it? If you didn't hear what I said, I repeat it. Who drains you the most, and why do you keep allowing it? I said who, not what. This is a person I'm talking about here. Okay? So number 2, What can you do? What can you do this week to protect your emotional space? What can you do this week to protect your emotional space? Number 3. How do you feel when you walk away from someone heavy, guilt, or relieved? Do you feel guilty or do you feel relieved? How do you feel when you walk away from someone heavy? They're bringing you a bunch of stuff that you can't handle. Do you feel guilty about what they're bringing to you when you walk away from it? Or do you feel relieved when you walk away from it because you do not want to do it, you know? So number four, when was the last time you were the one who brought peace into a room? Now, I already told you my story. When was the last time I did it? It was last week on the plane. I brought peace. So when was the last time you brought peace into a room? Okay. These questions are meant to make you aware because awareness is where transformation begins. Let me tell you another story. I want to tell you a story about the power of not absorbing someone else's energy. Because I feel like you might be able to relate better this way. There was someone in my life who used to walk into a room and shift the whole energy instantly. I mean, the atmosphere was shifted instantly. Everyone could feel the tension. They can feel the negativity. They can feel the heaviness. At first, I used to let it ruin my mood. But then one day, I made a quiet decision. It was just to myself. I said, you know what? This is not going to work. I have to do better than this. I'm not going to match energy anymore. I'm not going to be keeping what's not mine. I stayed calm. I smiled. I even stayed grounded in peace where there was storm passing, you know. Enough was enough. I'm not going to keep arguing with someone or feeling... Because I remember when I had a moment with my deceased husband. I told you guys about this when my blood pressure was high for the first time ever and the only time ever in my life. We had just had an argument and the nurse she was taking my vitals because I was dealing with the migraines and everything. And when she said, your blood pressure is very high, this is not right, it's not normal, you never had this problem. And then because my deceased husband had walked through the door and everything just went like crazy. And I realized then I had to take control of allowing someone's energy soon they walk in the room to control mine. Now, I did that once before, even before I met my deceased husband, with a former friend of mine. I told you guys about her too, with the situation of how we was friends and stuff, and I lived with her and she lived with me, that kind of stuff. And it was times when I saw her and my energy went different. Now, my energy didn't get mad because I wasn't mad. I wasn't angry, but I felt unease, like uncomfortable. I seen her in a restaurant. Matter of fact, I was invited to the restaurant, and one of our mutual friends had invited me and also had invited her. I didn't know she was going to be there, so when I walked through the door and I saw her sitting at the table with him, and I instantly had this feeling like, oh my goodness. But you know, that's natural. That's human response. So I chose not to be draining. I chose to be more, what you call it? It's a word for that, but cordial. That's what it was. I chose to be cordial. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna just sit down. I came this way. I done drove all this way, so I might as well go ahead and just sit down and see what's up. And her energy was down, her energy was like, I don't want her here. Why she here? That kind of stuff. And I'm like, ooh. And then at that time, I had another friend with me, and she felt her energy. She had never met her before. So she was like, what's wrong with your friend? And I was like, okay, it's time to go. So yeah, people don't realize that energy is serious. And what I've noticed about me, instead of their energy overtaking mine, my calm starts to shift the atmosphere. That's what I start doing. That's how I operate now. That is a powerful thing to own. And owning your peace is very powerful. Not too many people can master owning their own peace. That is the thing to do. When you're able to own your own peace, you become the thermostat and not the thermometer. You are the thermostat. You're the one who controls the temperature, okay? So you set the tone, and don't be absorbing what's going on around you. Try to be the person that turns the negative into a wisdom, a wise situation, okay? Into wisdom. Use it to your advantage. Not to take advantage, but use it to your advantage. Use it as moments of growth. Those are opportunities that you can use to grow and overcome and achieve. And you can write it off. Say, hey, I know I'm able and I'm capable of being the type of person who can actually overcome certain things because I've been through it. I was tested and I passed. And sometimes your calm is a mirror that shows others how to mimic you to become a peaceful person as well. So what you want to do is take your power back. So how do you take your power back? And when someone messes with you this week, if someone messes with you this week, or you find that someone's energy is overbearing or whatever, try to do something different than what you normally would do. Try a different response. What I want you to do is start noticing where your energy goes. Pay attention to where it's going. Where are you putting that energy at? If you're running late to work, that is a bad way to start your day. Waking up and trying to get to work on time and you're behind, your energy is gone. It is being controlled by the people in the traffic. I'm telling you, this is an opportunity for you. That is the biggest challenge that you will have. This is an opportunity for you to try to exercise this. Instead of speeding like a maniac and about to get in a car wreck or get a ticket or whatever, figure out a way to stay calm throughout your commute to work, even though you're being late. You can't change anything because you already missed the time. So instead of being late, let's get up early, okay? Oh, for me, let me tell you something. This past few weeks, I don't know what is going on with my iPhone, and I said this before. I allowed my son to talk me into buying this phone, and I'm more of an Android person. Yes, I still got my Android phone, and my goodness, my Android never fails me. Every time I set the alarm, it rings, it does what it needs to do. I can set it 3, 4, 5, 10 different times. When I set my alarm for my iPhone, I don't know how many hours I have to get some sleep. My Android would tell me exactly how many hours. As soon as I set my alarm on my Android, it'll say you have 6 hours of sleep. I'm like, oh man, 6 hours. Okay, I can do something with that. But with my Android, I'm not quite sure. I have to do my math. I got to do my math in my head. And then sometimes it'll go off and sometimes it won't. And I be getting up in the middle of the night checking my phone because I don't know if I overslept. Because I almost did twice, 2 days in a row. I'm in the hotel. I know I had to be at the van at a certain time. I woke up at the time I was supposed to be walking out the door. I say, oh my God, this phone didn't even go off. So all I had enough time to do was to brush my teeth and try to wash my face a little bit because I always leave out of my room at least 20 minutes early before the van. So I had 20 minutes to get myself together, put my clothes on as fast as I can, throw everything in my bag and run downstairs. And I didn't even get my coffee, and I was so mad about that because I always got to get my coffee. So even though I had all that energy going on, I rested when I got downstairs, got in the van, and I said, okay, I need something to calm myself on my commute to the airport. We're not going to do this. We're not going to have this energy going on this plane. So I started detoxing my mind. I put on something meditating on my phone so I can calm. And I did those things, and then I became normal again. Yeah, that's my normal. So when it comes down to finding what works for you, I need you to try to do that this week. So I want you to notice where your energy goes. Another thing I want you to do is, who are you giving your emotional access to, your energy to? Who's the person that is taking your emotional access? And you got to ask yourself, do they deserve it? People do have access to your energy now, to your emotions. Usually that person is usually whoever's the closest to you. It can be your boyfriend, your spouse, whoever, your parents, your children, whoever is the closest to you. And do they deserve it? And you might say, well, my boyfriend deserves, my husband deserves. Not really. No, because you still got control over your emotions. If you find yourself always at an uproar, and I'll give you an example. So my husband just called me about an hour ago, and he was talking about our son. So the school. My son's school, they take their phones. They got to put their phones in this pouch every day because Texas has banned cell phones from all public schools now. So my son, he didn't get his phone back yesterday. My husband told me about this, and I was like, okay. I didn't say anything. I said, he'll get it back. I didn't get all mad. And then the first time this happened, I got all upset. I contacted the teacher, told them if they don't find my son's phone, they was going to have to pay for it, all that stuff. So, and then they found it the next day and called me and told me, Miss Carroll, we found your son's phone, stuff like that. This time, I didn't even call. I didn't even get on the cameras at the house to talk to my son about it. I didn't say anything. I just stayed quiet. And my husband was like, so you're not mad? I said, not today. So I'm not going to be mad today. Not today. And he's like, I said, man, I am finna go to sleep. I am tired. I refuse to get upset. I'm not going to do it. And then so today came and he called and he said, he didn't get his phone. I said, oh, so he didn't get his phone. This time I'm getting a little, I'm feeling something now. I'm like, okay, this is 2 days in a row. I didn't say anything. Today Friday, so that means we got to go all week and all. So my husband, he's all upset and he's all like, I'm going to go up to that school and I'm going to, hey, are you off on Monday? I say, yes, I'll be at home. Well, how about you go and handle this? Because if I go up there, it's going to be some problems and I don't want to got to go to jail behind this. So how about you go up there? Because you is better at this stuff than I am. So I said, okay. And then he said, well, you need to get on the cameras and you need to talk to him. You need to make sure that he didn't get his phone taken from him and he just lying about it. And I thought about that. I said, they did say if they get caught on their phones that they was going to get detention. And they was not going to get detention. They was going to get their phones taken from them. And I was going to have to come to the school and get it. But they didn't send me no message. So if I don't get a message, then that's not what happened. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but then at the same time, I'm not trying to get upset. I'm not letting no one take my energy. I'm not giving my emotions away. So I just got on the cameras. I talked to my son. I was calm as possible. And then I just told him, I said, look, Monday when you go to school, I need that to be your priority. You need to make sure you come home with that phone. And I was woosah, like on Bad Boys 2. I was like, we're not gonna do this today. I am in Mexico. I can't do nothing about what's going on in the States. I am just gonna chill out and I'm gonna talk to you guys on my podcast and I'm gonna chill out, So when I get home tomorrow, me and my son gonna have this conversation. When you go to school, you better whatever. I'm gonna send some messages to his teacher, so that way they are aware. Hey, what's going on? Find my son's phone. That phone costs too much to be just letting it go like that. I have a tracking device on it. So if it get turned on, because it's turned off right now, I'm going to locate it and I'm coming for it. So, or I'm just going to do a police report. And I did mention that the very first time when my son came home without his phone, the very first time, I think that's why they found the phone the very next day, because I said, I'm going to do a police report and report this phone stolen. And the teachers who's responsible for making sure all the kids put their phone in the pouch and return the phone back to the students at the end of the day, you're just going to be responsible for it because you should have lost it. So they're going to say, I'm sending you home a letter telling you that we're not responsible for that. So now you are. I don't care what letter y'all bring home, because this is something that shouldn't be happening, If that's the case, then you can take all the kids' phone and not return it. So anyway, so what I really want you guys to do, if you can, I want you to walk away from someone that is draining you. Anyone that starts to drain you, walk away from them. It's going to be something, I'm going to tell you that right now. When you're in a moment and they're draining your energy and you just turn around and just walk off, they're going to be like, wait a minute, no, you did just walk away. But when they do that, I want you to take notes. Take notes of their response, not yours. Take notes of how they are acting, what's going on with them. And then say to yourself, I'm glad I'm not acting like that. Okay? And if you leave a conversation and you feel inspired, how about that? I want you to take notes on that too. So you get a chance to feel both. Pay attention to that this week, all right? I want you to keep a journal, an energy journal this week. It don't have to be a whole lot. You don't have to write a whole lot. All you're going to do each night when you're about to go to sleep, before you go to bed, you're just going to write just a few little things. What I want you to do is give yourself awareness. Give yourself some awareness of what happened that day. And you're going to write this question down. So go ahead and write it down if you can. If not, come back to this and I want you to write this question down. What gives me energy? Write that down and you're going to write the answer. What gives me energy? And then you're going to also write this question. What drained me today? You're going to write that down. What was it that happened today that drained you? And then you're going to write this one down. What am I choosing to release before I go to bed? So before you go to bed every night this week, you're going to release something. What is it that you're going to release? It might be, I'm going to release worry. I'm not going to worry about anything tonight. I'm just going to go to sleep. I noticed that people who have trouble sleeping, it's usually because they're worrying about something. And I've noticed even in myself that when I choose to just let things go or not to worry about anything, I sleep like a baby. I will sleep so peaceful. I've been sleeping so well, I don't even want to get up. And that's a control thing. You have to learn how to let go of certain things. Whenever I find myself not able to shut my mind off because my mind is just going about whatever it is that's going on or that I want to get to, because I get anxious when I want to get something done and get it over with, especially when it's important. When I find myself that way, I tell myself, you can't do anything at this moment. So why are you wasting these hours thinking about this? Just go to sleep. So when you wake up, then deal with it. This is how I talk to myself to make myself go to sleep. And if I really, really, really can't sleep, really can't sleep, then I get some of my wellness teas. I have wellness teas. I drink my teas and I calm myself down, and then that's why I get sleepy and I go to bed. Some people might take sleeping pills, but I have to have a certain amount of sleep to take a sleeping pill. I really do. If I don't have 8 hours or more, I cannot take that pill. because I will be drowsy all day long, and I hate that feeling. I would prefer not to take the pill if I can't get 8 to 10 to 12 hours of sleep on that pill so I can get rid of that drowsy feeling. So, yes, definitely make sure that you try that this week. And at the end of the week, you're going to see a pattern. You'll see where peace live and where you keep losing it. Then you can choose which one you want to deal with. You can start choosing the difference in between the two. You'll see it immediately. You'll know exactly what you're going to do when it starts happening. And you will find it very helpful for you. So remember, you can't heal in a space where you keep getting sick at. All right? You can't find peace in people who profit from your chaos. So protect your spirit. That's your sacred place. Definitely protect your spirit. I want to thank you for spending time in this moment with me today. If this episode helped you reclaim your peace and your calm, share it with someone who you feel that drains, I would say who drains your energy. Maybe they can get some help from this. But anyone who is draining in any kind of way in their own life, they're drowning, they need some help, share this with them, all right? And just remember that their energy is there to protect, not yours. You protect your own energy. Because peace isn't about avoiding people. It's about mastering your response, how you respond to people. That's what peace is really about. People don't understand that living in chaos, you can still have peace even in the midst of that. And that is the kind of peace that God gives. And it's called the peace of surpassing all understanding. But until next time, I'm Alayla Carroll, remembering you can stand firm in your peace, stay soft in your spirit, and keep improving your thoughts by freeing yourself. Alayla Carroll, signing out.
Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, regain control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com.